Welcome to Read Your Comics. Today, I'm looking at a stack of 1993 books. Before I get started, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has recently subscribed to the channel. It's been growing at a nice steady rate, and I really appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, be sure to like and subscribe for more of this kind of content. I enjoy doing it, and, getting some feedback is always a motivator to keep it going. So today I really just kind of want to look at this stack of books from 1993. I've been doing this journey. If you've been following the channel for a while, you'll know I've been doing this journey of the top selling books from that year. It was kind of this peak year for comics. The speculator boom was kind of at the top of its peak, and Image was in its second year. Valiant had already was exploding, and everybody was really getting into the comics game at the time. These kind of covers were definitely everywhere. And anyway, when I did this, it was kind of like it was the year 2023, and I was thinking 30 years ago in 1993, it was this peak year, and I thought it would just be fun to do. But as we start winding down towards the end of 2023, I don't know how much longer I'm going to continue on with this little segment that I've been doing. So I kind of want to just burn through some books right here real quick and see which one. I want to get some feedback to see which one you guys want to see deeper dive videos on. What is not in this stack that I do have and I will be making videos for are The Reign of Superman and Nightfall. Those were the two biggest stories from DC and really two of the top selling really storylines of that year. So they're not pictured here, and I do plan on covering those before the year is over. These are kind of the ones that this is the big stack I have that I want to just kind of get feedback on, see which one you guys want to see me talk about. This mostly I was just sticking to number ones and anniversary issues. This is an anniversary. It was number 375. Marvel took every opportunity. If it was a, quarter of 100 book. So number 25s, number 750s and 75s and 100s all got nice, upcharged fancy covers like this. I've posted this one on Instagram fairly recently, so I wouldn't say I did a deep dive in it, but I did kind of discuss it there. Splitting Image. The Image guys, let Don Simpson kind of have his take on it. This one is the Spawn Spasm backed variant. I've got some X-Men books. I've only done, I think I did X-Men 2099 number 1 so far, but here we've got X-Men number 300 with another nice prismatic cover. John Romita Jr. art in that one. The Fatal Attraction story. And this is actually, I did a little reel on Instagram kind of going over, or I showed off this whole set. These are the three that I would consider kind of doing if I were to do this, really even just these two. But I made a reel that was 1993 was 30 years ago. And that's kind of what sparked my mind on all these things that happened in 93. Kind of got me going down the rabbit trail before I even started making this content. So if you want to see one or a couple of these or something, let me know. I mean, this is the one where Magneto actually rips the adamantium from Wolverine, and this is kind of the aftermath. And I don't remember where that one falls in the storyline, but Cable gets his own ongoing series. There's a number 1. 2099 Unlimited with the first appearance of Hulk 2099. Another unlimited book. These were kind of like the fifth week books that Marvel started doing to fill out the schedule. Went for those random months. They were quarterly, double sized, and you got an X-Men one. So the often kind of forgotten Frank Miller Daredevil story. I feel like most people just look at his main run in the main series and Born Again. This is a good one, though. John Romita Jr. art, which complements Frank Miller's writing pretty well, I think, and that would be a fun one to deep dive into. I don't know that this one was necessarily a top seller, but I remembered picking it up off the shelf, and, if you wanted me to deep dive into that one, let me know. Infinity Crusade, the third of the Infinity trilogy. I believe Jim Starlin wrote this one too, did he not? Yep, Jim Starlin wrote this. So this is kind of like the second sequel to Infinity Gauntlet. And you've got a nice, of course, gold foily cover. The Defenders returns, and this time we're going to put Wolverine in the team. And, this might be, outside of X-Men and the new Fantastic Four, which was just kind of a one-off goofy story, this might be one of the first times Wolverine joined a team or was a part of a team outside of X-Men that I can think of. I pulled this one just because, I got it for $1 recently. It has a nice foil cover. She-Hulk 50, John Byrne. Some more Ultraverse, Sludge. This is one I've actually posted on Instagram before, and it's a pretty good story by Steve Gerber. Some more Defiant, Jim Shooter stuff, Dark Dominion. This was a series that was partially conceived with Steve Ditko, although he didn't end up doing the art on this. He did do the card series Zero. Here's another Topps Comics Kirby book, and let's see who did the inside of this. Who did the art? Dick Ayers and John Severin did the art on inside this one. Kirby cover, Savage Dragon in it. Okay, so these, I'm going to do these. I did Hardware #1, and I recently picked these up, and I'm looking forward to doing these, and I'm going to try to get even more of these milestone books. I may make videos even beyond just the #1s, if I can find them. #2s are kind of hard to come by. #1s and like 4 and 5s I keep running across. I've not done any Deathmate. This is actually the only one that I currently have. If you wanted to see a Deathmate Black, I could probably get a hold of one of those pretty easily. But I think it's worth a discussion to cover this one. This one has Barry Windsor Smith art in it. Another Image book here, Wildstar #1 by Jerry Ordway, I believe, is the main. Al Gordon, co-creator, Jerry Ordway, co-creator. I remember getting this and really liking this book. It was one of the Image books I felt like that had a little substance to it at the time. And it has some nice foil, not foil, but it does have some foil there and stuff. But the blood is embossed. Bloodstrike #1 that has the Rub the Blood cover. It's worth talking about, I suppose. Here's a handful of these books that I think are kind of funny. The Image going with the all black covers just like constantly. You got Tribe #1, Shaman's Tears, Shadowhawk 2. Haven't done any Shadowhawk of any kind. Be kind of fun to do a Shadowhawk book. Another Liefeld book, Brigade, which is part of this Blood Brothers. It ties into that Bloodstrike #1 book. Wildcats Trilogy #1 with a nice shiny cover too, and it is by Jay Lee. Well, the art is by Jay Lee. And some more Jay Lee. Jay Lee making his Image presence known with Youngblood Strike File. Another Jim Lee book, Stormwatch #1. Stormwatch would eventually evolve and become the Authority. So, I mean, is this worth looking at and taking a deeper look at? And I did a Union, and Stormwatch appeared in Union. Trencher, believe it or not, this is a top 300 book seller of 1993. Keith Giffen, and he does this like, I don't know what you would call this style. This isn't always his style, but he did a Lobo series called Lobo Infanticide that was in this style, and then he did Trencher. So they get a lot of comparisons of this being like him taking Lobo more or less over to Image, but I don't think that's exactly it. We got some nice wraparound chromium covers with Bloodshot Zero. Bloodshot #1, everybody of course knows that one with the Barry Windsor Smith that has the chromium plate in the front. That came out in 92, but this one came out in 93 when Image was doing, or not Image, Valiant was doing all of these wraparound covers, just like this Ninjak #1. So posted this one on Instagram kind of recently too. So I have read this one. It's like recently, so I can probably make a video of it pretty quick. Magnus Robot Fighter 25. We got the anniversary issue and the kind of foily cover. It doesn't wrap around. These two issues kind of go together. There was like the future books of Valiant, the ones that took place in the year 4000. Kind of were having like a reboot at this point, and these two books kind of go together for that reason. Then we have the Valiant, more or less Avengers or Justice League book. And this Dr. Mirage book. I remember Dr. Mirage being a pretty good title at the time. If anybody remembers Hero Illustrated #1, which was the Wizard magazine competitor. And they used this with like a foil emboss. But so that's kind of what I've got still in my stack here lined up. But like I said, I don't know that I'm going to get to all this, at least not by the end of the year. If I'm going at this, 2 videos a week pace is pretty much what I'm looking at. This 2 videos a week pace that I'm looking at, and I would like to be able to do more, but it's hard. It's hard to have time. This isn't my day job, unfortunately. But yeah, any of these you see in here that you're like, hey, I want to see that one soon, like speak up, because after the end of this year, there's just other books of different eras that I want to cover along the way beyond 1993. As much as I look at this year as just a pivotal year of comics, it wasn't the first year I got into comics or anything. I was pretty well into comics at that point. But it's the history of it being that peak speculator market time when the industry exploded and a lot of millionaires were made. And then the industry crashed, and a lot of those guys that made millions, thankfully they were able to kind of get through, and they're still here today. So, like I said, shoot me a comment and let me know which ones you want to see. And until next time, read your comics.